Okay, here's the deal, Pickle. I believe XRP is in fact going to be the world's reserve currency. I think lots of people believe that. I believe that it very well may be a digital asset tied to gold. Let me tell you why. I think if we have a financial crisis like we had in 2008, you see, they still haven't even fixed the problems that they had in 2008. They've just created and printed more money through quantitative easing around the world and kicked the can down the road. They haven't solved any of those problems. There's a big problem there. But I think when it collapses, they're going to need to find a way to instill the confidence in the citizenry again. And I think one of the ways to do that might be to say, hey, we're back on the gold standard. You know, yeah, that was bad, that whole collapsing thing. But hey, we're on the gold standard now, and that's going to be great forever. And that's going to be great for those of us that are holding these digital assets and XRP. And they are going to have to reevaluate the price of XRP. World currencies only last about 100 years on average, and the United States has had the world's reserve currency for 98 years. So we're on track to have that status potentially removed altogether. So, and I'm not completely sure, and I've mentioned it in other videos, I'm not completely sure that that the United States government hasn't been involved with Ripple either from its inception or at least very early on. I think it's entirely possible. I know they're not going to get left behind in this digital race, that's for sure. I think the fact that regulation is taking so long is deliberate. I think they are rolling this thing out slowly, and that this is very methodical. I think it's tied to the election. I think, as I've mentioned before, the powers to be, at least in the United States, would like to wait till after the election, but I think the only thing that's going to push that up any further is going to be, you know, a collapse of the economy, to which they'll be forced to roll it out. Like I said, they haven't solved any of the problems. In 2008, you had all the subprime lending, which they were bundling mortgages together, the United States real estate market, bundling these mortgages together. But the flip side of that is you had companies that were in the know that were buying credit default swaps that were betting against the market and ultimately made the right bet, I guess. And the United States real estate market, the bubble popped and it was a bust, and lots of good families got hurt. But this was all through, if you really want to research it, through legislators. And actually the last document that Bill Clinton signed before he left office allowed for this side betting to take place, these swaps, and caused that crash. But the reality of it is they still haven't fixed it. You have central bankers around the world that have a serious money problem. And then you have governments around the world that have a serious debt crisis. Something has to change. It's completely and totally unsustainable. Here in the United States, we were freaking out when it was 16 trillion, and we're north of $22 trillion in debt, and that has nothing to do with the unfunded liabilities that is much higher. It's unsustainable. It can't happen. The one shot you have, if you're a central bank or you are a government, is to maybe structure some deal behind the scenes whereby you take advantage of a brand new asset class, maybe called XRP. And then you'll see the price reevaluated to numbers that you only dreamed of, 4 and 5 digits potentially. Anyway, there's some food for thought.